Mrs. Robertson, and in 6th grade math today, we're starting Chapter 8. A quick review, look at the examples, Example 1 and Example 2. It shows you how to do problems that are greater than, less than, or equal to, and reviews one-step equations, which is what your test was over. So in number 1, we determined that 302,788 is greater than 203,788. In this problem, 54,000 is less than 543,000. It gets the point. In the next one, 892,341 is less than 892,431. Any questions? In the next problem, the table shows the number of bones in humans. Compare 300 and 206. Notice how babies have more bones than adults, because as you get older they start fusing together and growing together. So that is why. So when you compare, they want you to do 300 is greater than 206. If you wrote 206 is less than 300, that is correct too. So those are the two correct answers. Solve each equation to undo adding. You subtract 44 from both sides, and you have x equals 46. To undo subtraction, you all know to add, and x equals 25. And to undo multiplication, because that says 16 times m equals 48, you divide both sides by 16, and m equals 48 divided by 16 is 3. Any questions? In the last problem, in the first 2 basketball games, Lee scored a total of 40 points. If he scored 21 points in the second game, how many points did he score in the first game? Well, I'm going to do F equals points first game. Define the variable. Now, it doesn't tell you to do this, but this is what you had to do in the test. So, it doesn't say what type of an equation to write. I'm going to do an addition equation of F plus 21, the first game, but plus the second game, equals a total of 40 points. So how many points did he get the first game? 19. F equals 40 minus 21 is 19. Any questions on that? Okay, now we're going to go to page 576. So let's go back in your book. And these are things you're going to need to know for this chapter. Arithmetic sequence. That's like PEMDAS. Order of operations and how to read things. One of the things included in a sequence is PEMDAS. Dependent variable, you're going to learn about that. I'm not going to talk to you about that today. And independent function, we're going to learn about that one today. Function rules, probably get into that one tomorrow. Function table, we're going to learn about a function table today. Geometric sequence. Inequalities. Inequalities are this. I want you to write this down. Inequalities are greater than, less than, greater than and equal to, less than and equal to. Those are your inequalities. It means it's not equal to. Okay? So you'll see that word inequality on a lot of tests. So I just want you to be familiar with it. Linear function means it's something that creates a line. Sequence is order, and term is another thing. We're all going to learn about these things in this chapter. Study skills, writing, math. It says when you describe something, you represent it in words. It says, Mark surveyed his class to find their favorite flavor of sugarless gum. Describe the data. Okay, so here's the chart. They want us to tell something about it. Well, one thing, 8 more people favor peppermint gum over cinnamon gum. The total number of people surveyed equals 40. These statements describe the data. What other ways can you describe the data? Well, you could say 10 is less than 18, right? That's a description. We're using inequality signs. Anything else? Those are just different things that we can do. You have a question? Yes. Some examples that they gave in the book for that are, just so you know, here are a few more things that it says in the book. The data could also describe using measures of center or comparing other flavors to one another. And measures of center are mean, median, mode, and range. We're going to learn about that in another chapter, so don't worry about that. I will teach you measures of center later this year. You should have learned it last year, and then we go into more detail in 6th grade. So I'm glad to hear you've already learned about it. So here we have different things. Describe the data below. I'm going to just sort of skip over those because I want to go into the lesson for today. But we're going to be using, after we're done with this chapter, we might come back to this page and use some of the new techniques and the new terminology to write answers for this. All right. Now, all right, so today, as I said earlier, instead of doing the problems in the book, we're going to do this worksheet, and it just consolidates things a little nicer than the problems in the book. All right, so we're going to learn about function tables today. So let's look at what the definition of a function table is. First of all, you have to know about a function rule. So if you have a highlighter, you can highlight it. A function rule describes the relationship between the input and the output of a function. Okay. The function rule. All right, so here we have a table. What do you put in? A 9. This is your rule. Let's write the word rule above that. That's the rule. So it says your input, we're going to call it an X, and the output, we're going to call it a Y. So if you replace X with a 9, what do you get? What's 9 minus 3? That is your output. If you replace X with an 8, what's 8 minus 3? And 6 minus 3? Okay, so you understand an input, a rule, and an output now? Very simple. It says here that the rules, the inputs and outputs can be organized in a function table. All right. So it's just organized in a function table. That's what it does. It says the function rule X minus 3 means subtract 3 from each input. All right, here we have an input of 9. 9 minus 3 is 6. 8 minus 3 is 5. 6 minus 3 is 3. And here, that's just the answers to what we had up there. Any questions on that example? Very, very easy. Now let's look at the next one. Example 2. Find the input for the function table. Ooh. Now, this is your rule. Can someone tell me, what does the rule say? Yes. 4 times X. So, that's our rule. Let's just put 4 times 4. This is going to be multiply something, and 4 times something. Okay? Now, what I have here, this is my input. And this is the output. Now, 4 times what equals 0? 0. So let's put a 0 here because 4 times 0 is 0. Okay? 4 times what equals my output of a 4? 1. 4 times what equals an output of 8? Okay. It's easy to interpret now. When you first looked at that, it's like, oh my gosh, what do they want us to do? Easy to read, isn't it? That was not hard. Okay. It says, what did we do? It says work backward to find the input. Since the rule is 4 times x, just divide each output by 4. The inputs are 0, 1, and 2. Yeah, 0 divided by 4 is 0. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Any questions? Okay, I told you this was an easy lesson. Now we're going to go ahead and do these 4 tables together. All right? So our rule is this: input, rule, output. What is 2 times 0, class? 0. Alex, what's 2 times 2? That's our output. What is 2 times 4? Any questions on how to do this? Does everyone have that written down? Very easy. All right, in number 2, write the word rule so you know this is the rule. What is 4 plus 0? Class? What is 4 plus 1? What is 4 plus 4? Okay, any questions? This one, we're going to have to go backwards. Okay? Oh no, this is so easy. What's your input in this one? 1. What's the input on this one? And what's the input on this one? They shouldn't have given you the answers here, should they? That was easy. Okay. They did the same thing in this table, didn't they? What divided by 2 is 1? 2. What divided by 2 is 3? 6. What divided by 2 is 5? Any questions? All right. Your homework assignment is to do the 10 problems on the back. I thought this is easier to do than just do the problems in the book. So go ahead, complete these. If we have time in class, we'll just grade the answers in class.